I was born and raised in Sarajevo. When the war started, I was 22 years old. I often say the war came upon us. It literally, physically, I went to bed one night and then I woke up to the airplanes and the bombing and shelling the next day.
I used to wonder who were these policymakers at the big mahogany desks when Hitler was rolling over, Europe. And I was the policymaker at the big mahogany desk. And so I thought, oh my gosh, what do I do?
A beautiful young friend, colleague of mine, her name was Suada, she was 23, decided as a courageous one woman to literally cross the bridge to go to the other side, to try to talk out these people with guns from the madness that was about to commence. And as we were walking, I was about 3 steps behind her, the sniper fire got shot. And she fell down. And she was the first victim of the Bosnian war.
There was a horrible massacre of Srebrenica. About 9,000 unarmed boys and men were rounded up and separated from the women and girls, and they were all executed.
My father fell apart because everything that he knew, the professional contacts, the business world, just overnight disappeared. Who picked up the pieces? Literally in my family and families across Bosnia were the women. It was my mother. That woman would go out and she would carry a big bag and she would go to the UN headquarters 200 meters down the street and knock on the door and use her broken Italian to explain that in our apartment building there are 5 babies. We need milk. And she would negotiate and get that milk, and she would get us water, she would get us food, she would get us firewood.
We were celebrating the liberation of concentration camps in Austria, and people were saying, never again, never again. Well, it was happening right there. There were literally concentration camps, there were rape camps. It was horrible.
Hundreds of women I've seen in these communities who were able to say, even at the height of killing and genocide, there are mothers on the other side who are losing their sons too. And we will work together to first stop this bloodshed, and then once the violence stops, to work together to rebuild this country.
We came to Washington for the signing of the peace agreement. I'm sitting in this auditorium, Presidents Clinton, Izetbegovic, and Tudjman. I look around in the room and I think, oh, how did this happen? It was all men, and I didn't see it. And the reason I didn't see it is because I was looking through a different lens. I wasn't thinking, how do you build peace? I was thinking, how do you stop a war? You put more chairs around the table.
Just as we are thinking about how many bombers we will send and how many bullets we will sell, we should also think, what are women's organizations in Syria, in Iraq, in Afghanistan doing right now that should be part of our decisions? What war and peace will look like.